Today we're going to talk about the Shaitle, the Kisui Rosh. It's going to be a beautiful sunset in about a few seconds. Hashem is making a very nice sunset because He wants us to talk about the Shaitle. Wow, how do you go about it? Okay, so it's a minhag, meaning it's a practice of Jews. It's almost become a Jewish practice, meaning that many have left go, but there are still some religions that believe that you have to cover your head in church, different denominations of like stricter Mennonites, and if you research you'll see. But if you look in the history of mankind, who survived in terms of what tribes and humans survived, it's hard to look at today and decide what is what. Also, circumcision has become a Jewish, and in one point in history in Rome, when they wanted to identify a person who had to pay a tax if he was a Jew, so by knowing if he had a bris, they could identify him as a Jew. So the Kisui Rosh has become known to be Jewish, but Islamic also. But the point is that the Arabs didn't get it from us, and it's not a Jewish thing. It is a custom in the ancient Near East. Whoa, nice. And this custom was so it became almost like learned out as a biblical thing, like a deraisa, because it says upara esreish ha'isha. So people would interpret that to mean that this was a deraisa. But obviously we don't go by deraisa, we go by chachamim. That's rule number one, meaning the Chachamim overruled the Torah, and Hashem and the Navi are not able to change halachas. It goes by the Chachamim, and halacha kibasrei, halacha goes like so. Instead of bashing the Shaitle, right? Instead of saying, "Oh, okay, the Shaitle is obsolete," It's definitely, it's only because of the women had second class. There's no question about how women were treated. If you look in Tanakh, how women were moved around without even hearing their opinion about what they felt. Shaul giving his daughter to David, and so on and so forth. Women didn't have even opportunity to be educated, so nobody knew their potential. So it wasn't like there were wealthy women, and they sat with men. If you look in the art of Hellenism, and Hellene came to Jerusalem, so there were educated women. Why? So I really don't know much about which women had their chance and how they were looked at, but the women's hair covering is not a spiritual thing, not a religious thing. There is no honor to the women. Of course, people who are raised in what you call in human psychology, it's called spiritual abuse. Or spiritual abuse is where you have like a cult, and they tell you this table is a truck, and we whip you because we love you so much, so we're cleaning you, and the woman is malchus, so she should stay in the kitchen because she's the highest, but she should stay in the kitchen. She shouldn't even vote for the next Rav or Maradasra. So this is called spiritual abuse, where basically, like in a cult, I tell you this table is a truck. Or like in North Korea, when a couple gets married, they have to go kiss or bow by the statue of the supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, whatever. So you have a statue of both of them, they look alike. And their explanation is, because not every couple wants to go kiss that statue, but they must. And oy vavoy if they don't. So the explanation is because he's the supreme leader, he's like your father, he's like your everything, it's Hanasi hu Hakol. Obviously the fault with that is that naturally not everybody kisses their own father at their wedding day. Not everybody has that luxury and that type of relationship. So what if you don't have the relationship like that with your father? So a guy would say, look, I didn't come to see the supreme leader because it's like my father and I don't have a good relationship with him. We've been starving this year and things like that. And he never asked me my opinion about negotiations with China. So it's a borrowed term. They say it's like a lead, he's like your father, but he's not really like your father. It's like, don't fuck around. You show up here by the wedding because everybody does it, and this place is one fucking open air prison. So spiritual abuse is where you make up bullshit and you just say a bunch of nonsense, and it's all to just make this initial, the objective of power is power. The objective of torture is torture. George Orwell. So in terms of the it's a beautiful, 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 beautiful sunset. Hashem loves. And then we're gonna have soon the eclipse coming this week. So most of the Gdolim and leaders in Am Yisrael, Hasidish and Litvish, their wives didn't cover their hair. So the reasoning is because they didn't find it to be necessary. It's something of the times, the way women were treated. And to them, it was very clear. It became a minhag, but that minhag is already also obsolete. So I could, instead of bashing it, I would say in defense of Nashim Tzidkaniyas who don't wear a Shaitle and are Orthodox, and a lot of these women are Lamed Vovniks. I was shocked to know that a lot of people don't know that Lamed Vovnikim were not only white old males, Republicans, but Lamed Vovnikim were not always white. Lamed Vovnikim were not always Ashkenazi, European. Lamed Vovnikim were not always males with penises between their legs. Lamed Vovnikim were not always bar mitzvah. Some of them were age 7, 8, 9. So the 36 mystics, some of these women who didn't cover their hair were from the Lamed Vov Chevraya, the Lamed Vovnik society. So today, if you already take off the Shaitle and you then Shekayach Tavlechem Bracha, and if you're contemplating it, the question is: are you just another? You just obey what your community does, and you behave. Your religion is based on your zip code. Then this video is not for you. But if you're a leader in Am Yisrael and you want to help others and you want to make it better for Klal Yisrael, and you have the spirit of the Baal Shem Tov in you, so you should. I hope you could make a difference. Every person could make a difference. It's not easy to lead, but it's the greatest reward. Chinuch, as Rabbi Simpson would say, is the greatest reward. Chinuch, people thank you years later. La'olam va'ed, they see you and they say, "Thank you very much for making my life better." Reminding you before we go that religion is a response to revelation. So some people respond by doing good, and some people respond by doing the opposite of good and harming and torturing and making people's lives difficult. Look at the moon, beautiful moon. So have a nice day, and thank you for watching Sheni B'Chamishi.